I recognize this is a little bit of an unusual situation to have a virtual open house, but I'm very pleased to welcome you all here. My name is Andrew Schaffner. I'm the chair of the statistics department. Together, we have a panel for you here today to answer many of your questions that you might have. With us today are Katie Doctor. She is our administrative coordinator for the department. Also here today are professors Matt Carlton, Beth Chance, Jimmy Doy, Ulrich Lund, Kevin Ross, Heather Smith, and Dennis Sun. In addition to having a faculty panel here today, we also have some students. We have Ethan Moore, Layla Bergen, Mason Ogden, and Regina Lisinker. Let me tell you a little bit about how we're going to run this. It's new for all of us. We have our panelists here to answer questions. I'll be introducing the department and a little bit about what we're all about. And as we're having our webinar here, you'll notice on the bottom of your screen a Q&A button that you can use. And you can type your questions by clicking on that Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. There is a raise hand button there. We won't be using that feature today. So again, just your questions can go in the Q&A, and then some of our helpers behind the scenes will ask those questions out to the panelists to help answer all of your needs. At the end of this session, we'll have all of this available on the statistics website, statistics.calpoly.edu. It'll also be available from the virtual open house website that you probably went to when you first came to find all the information for our open house. So I'll begin by telling you a little bit about our department. Our department has 164 majors currently. We're one of the smaller departments within the College of Science and Math, but we are growing. The history of our department started off as a joint department with computer science. We were computer science and statistics. And then in the 80s, we had split apart and became two separate departments. Now, with the emergence of data science, we're actually working very closely with computer science again, coming back together. Computer science went to the College of Engineering, and we're here in the College of Science and Math. Regarding our majors and our growth, last year we had 39 incoming freshmen and new transfer students. This coming year, your class, we're growing a bit. We're actually going to have up to 60 new students entering our program. Our program is limited in size because of our capstone experiences that we like to provide for our students, and we'll tell you more about that. So our program will never get very, very large because we like to maintain a lot of contact with our students and keep that student-faculty ratio in a nice place where we can have maximal interaction. In addition to our major programs, we have minor programs in statistics, data science, actuarial preparation, and bioinformatics. Each of these will highlight a little bit more. As a statistics major, you obviously wouldn't be minoring in statistics, but you do have the option to pick up minors in data science, actuarial preparation, and bioinformatics, not to mention all the other minors that we offer on campus. For our faculty, we have 36 faculty in the fall. There's actually 34 of them are here presently. We're bringing 2 new folks in that'll be starting in the fall, 2 new brand new faculty. We're very excited to have here. One is an expert in spatial statistics, and the other is an expert in data science education. So they'll be contributing a lot of new things to our department. And of course, being a statistician, we have to have a graph at least somewhere in a presentation. So I just wanted to show you a little bit about the fact that we are having some steady growth, but we're going to hold off and flatten out here. And I can't believe I just said flatten out. I'm flattening a curve during this time. It's a great time to be a statistics major at Cal Poly. It's a great time to be a statistician anywhere. 2020 US News and World Report indicated that being a statistician was the #1 business job and the #6 best job in STEM fields, and #6 among the top 100 best jobs overall. So it's a wonderful career to be getting involved in. A little more about our faculty. First, I'll mention just a little bit more about myself. Other faculty will introduce themselves in a few minutes. I am a Cal Poly alum. We have several other faculty here who are also Cal Poly alums. We loved it so much we had to come back. At Cal Poly, we have several ASA fellows. ASA is the American Statistical Association, and being a fellow is a great honor. It's a privilege that we have these individuals here teaching for us at Cal Poly. Some of our faculty are very involved in statistics education, both as researchers and developers of curriculum. We have 5 faculty who are actively studying how to best teach statistics and doing national research, collecting data and building models, doing assessments to really truly identify what is the best way to teach statistics at a variety of levels, including the college level. Several of our faculty, at least 10 of them, are textbook authors or engaged otherwise in developing curriculum or writing software for other people to use in the classroom. Another core of our faculty are data science specialists. I actually broke this out into 2 groups. We have 5 faculty, 3 currently here and 2 coming on board to add to the curriculum that we would consider our core data science faculty. We do our data science program in partnership with computer science. They also have 5 faculty that contribute to this program. So when our students study data science, they are getting a blend of perspectives from both departments. And I think that's a real strength of the way we do it here at Cal Poly that's unique. We don't try to necessarily take it all on ourselves. We recognize that this discipline requires vast cooperation, and we're very blessed to have that here in a good working relationship with our computer science department. A lot of what we do in statistics is consulting and research and helping other people answer questions. That, to me, is what brought me into the field of statistics. I never set out to be maybe the best actor, but maybe winning an award for best supporting actor is what I was after. And that's exactly the role I think a lot of statisticians are. We are the support to support others' research. And so we have a very robust consulting program here for our students to be involved in and participate and help faculty work with other faculty across the institution in their research. There's a lot of research going on at Cal Poly. A few examples of things that we work on I've listed below. Research in the areas of education, health, engineering, biology, ecology, transportation, finance, agriculture. We have a large College of Agriculture here at Cal Poly. Public safety, you name it, statistics applies, and we're really pleased that we have so many core faculty involved in this endeavor. So how about our students? What do they do after Cal Poly? About a quarter of them move on to graduate school, and I've listed a few of the institutions that folks tend to go to, although there are others. The rest usually have a career that they immediately start in. In fact, on a rare occasion, but it has happened, a few people get lured away to jobs before they even graduate because statisticians are in such high demand. Some of our students get these fantastic offers well before they actually graduate. And some of them, in fact, have been tempted to leave before getting their degrees. We like them to have their degrees. It's an important thing, but it's nice to know that we're in such high demand that people are pulling our students as quickly as they can get them. What do we offer our students within our department? What kind of resources are available? What kind of opportunities are available? If we were here together, I would be taking you around after we gather for our conversation and showing you our department a little bit. I wish I could do that with you today. I can't, but let me share with you that we do offer a statistics lab that is just in our main office area. So students can congregate there, work together, and it's right where all the faculty offices are. So they have opportunities when they have questions to just walk down the hall and interact with our faculty. Our faculty, when they wander up and down the hall talking with each other, can interact with students. It's a great place for students and faculty to organically interact right in our home department. We also have a conference room and some other spaces right there that our students like to work in. And so that we refer to as our stat lab. We also have our statistics studio, which is a classroom that is designed for group work and group activities. Students work in pods where they can collaborate with each other, and they have computers right there. So courses can be delivered in a lecture format for a while, and we can pause. Students can be engaged in activity for a while. They can then work on the computers for a while, look at output, discuss, and it's a really nice interactive environment for them. I'd really like to be able to walk you over to that too, but hopefully when you come, you'll be able to see that for yourselves. Research is a great thing for our students to become active in. By research here, usually it means participating either directly with the faculty's independent research that they're doing on their own, or more often serving as a student consultant to some other projects on campus. Again, as I mentioned before, one of the reasons we all get involved in statistics is to help people develop and answer their research questions. And so our students can actually get involved in that. We also have some scholarship programs. We have our Frost researchers from William and Linda Frost have made a nice contribution that helps pay for students during the academic year to actually earn some money while they're engaged in assisting faculty in research. In addition to the academic year Frost funding, we also have summer research programs for students where they get a stipend to stay in San Luis Obispo and participate in summer research. Our students are very helpful to the campus community, and I think it's very helpful to our students to participate in tutoring and grading. Again, as a statistician, one of the things we have to do is to be able to communicate our statistical understanding to people who might not have statistical training, and what better way to practice that by tutoring our peers. So we do have a very robust tutoring program where our statistics majors will tutor the general population of Cal Poly as they take tutoring classes. And these are paid positions. And lastly, students can get involved with clubs across the entire campus, but we also have several specialized clubs just for statistics, namely our statistics club, data science club, actuarial club, and then outside of statistics, but many of our majors are involved in the business analytics club. I'd next like to give you a brief overview of our curriculum, and then I will introduce our panelists to talk about particular details. So students that come to Cal Poly are statistics majors. Everybody takes a core of GE. Many of our students arrive with some of this core completed, or not entirely completed, but portions of this through their AP exams or maybe taking classes in community colleges. We have a math core to our program, so calculus, linear algebra, and proofs. And then our statistics core, which our panelists will talk about the pieces of this in a little bit more detail shortly. As you can see, the majority of the units of our curriculum, the majority of the 180 units come from the statistics core. That was our undergraduate program. I'm really excited to share with you. This group is really the first group that may be able to take advantage of this. We have a master's program that's currently in the works. It's been approved or pre-approved by the chancellor of the California State University system. The pre-approval means that we can finish our final approval here on campus. This is a blended program, meaning that at the end of the program, typically 5 years, students can have not just their bachelor's degree, but a bachelor's and master's degree in statistics. So in addition to all the coursework in our regular curriculum, students would take some additional coursework, courses in generalized linear models, statistical learning, a consulting practicum where they would start seeing consulting clients on their own. Again, with supervision, there would be supervision from a faculty member, but largely they would take responsibility for their clients, and of course the master's thesis. Students who are entering next fall would be able to participate in this program should we get it approved in this next coming year, which I anticipate should be happening. So it'll be a great thing to be able to offer these students. I'd like to next introduce Professor Beth Chance to talk a little bit about how the program begins when new students arrive, what's their first experience in our program. I'd also want to remind folks that if you have questions during any of the presentation, to please go ahead and type them in that Q&A part. At the end of Beth's presentation on the first year, she can pause for a moment, and Jimmy Doi, who is one of our faculty here behind the scenes, may present some of the questions to Beth for her to answer. So Beth, I invite you to go ahead and share a little bit more about our first year, and maybe before that, even introduce yourself.
Thank you. So I've been here at Cal Poly for 20 years now. I originally started in San Diego, so I'm very happy to be back in California. So as far as the first year, one of the big benefits of applying to a major at Cal Poly is you can start to take major courses right away. And so even in the fall term, we'll have all the statistics major taking the same Stat 150 course. And it doesn't matter if you have AP credit or not, everybody's going to take the same course. And so one of our major goals is having that shared experience. So getting to meet the other statistics majors, getting to meet some of the upperclassmen, getting to know what the resources are on campus, both within the department and outside the department. You'll also start doing some group projects, and you'll even do a little bit of programming just to get a sense of what a statistics major is going to be doing. And so it's just a 2-unit course now, again, mostly for that community building. And then in the winter, everybody takes our Statistics 1 course, which is an introductory statistics course, and it has some overlap with AP statistics, but it doesn't assume any prior knowledge. So if you haven't taken statistics before, if you have, everybody's going to be taking the same course. If you have taken statistics before, you definitely see a lot more of why the methods that you learned about work. You'll also do a little bit more programming and some group work there as well. And it really delves into the logic and the mathematics behind the procedures. Same with our Stat 2 course that you would take in the spring. And so you're taking these courses so everybody gets the same common basis that we can build on after that, as well as that first year you'll be finishing off your calculus courses and taking some computer science courses. And then moving forward, you'll be able to blend all those tools together as you take your additional courses. So I'll let Dr. Lem talk some more about the computer science courses in a minute.
Before we go on, if it's okay, I do have 2 questions in our Q&A. I'd like to pose them now. Is that all right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the first question is, how does learn by doing apply to the statistics major? Also, how realistic is it to get internship opportunities? This is for all the panelists.
Well, I'll start a little bit first. So with the group projects that you're doing right away in that fall term, you're collecting data, you're analyzing data, you're presenting results. And so that's a lot of the learn by doing aspect. And as Dr. Schafter was mentioning, you have easy access to computer labs and to areas where you can work together with the other students. And part of the reason the Stat 150 course is now only 2 units is we do have a second course that they take at the end of the sophomore year on statistical communication that we'll talk a little bit more about. One aspect of that is preparing a resume and starting to think about internships. And some of the upperclassmen that we have come talk in Stat 150 in the second course are relating how they got their internship experiences and what types of skills they needed in those experiences. I'll see if somebody else wants to add more to that.
I suppose I'll add a bit. So as far as, internships, many of our students are well positioned to compete for and win internships in summer. They can consider doing it through the Frost Summer Research Program that we have on campus here, but also outside of the San Luis Obispo area or our campus community. Many of our students compete for and win internships that then for many of them turn into job offers that they turn into permanent careers.
And I'll go ahead and add in that some of our students, through their research apprenticeships at Cal Poly, will be paid, and while it wouldn't be a formal internship, it's an opportunity to be paid and doing some research here at Cal Poly, maybe under the guidance of both a statistics professor and then somebody in another department. Oftentimes, I've worked personally with faculty in food science and nutrition and biology, ecology, agriculture, and so our students might be part of another research team, and instead of maybe at an industrial position, it's an academic setting, but an internship nonetheless, because it's a prolonged period of working with their group.
All right, thank you. There's a second question here. I think the academic advisor should be able to answer this. If one has completed and received college credit for AP Statistics, what course will they be placed in for fall 2020?
So the credit you get for AP Statistics, you don't really get credit towards the statistics major, the statistics courses. It goes into free electives. And so it doesn't really impact your fall courses. You would still be taking the Stat 150 as well as some general education courses like in communication, and you'll also probably take your math courses like calculus.
All right, thank you. To talk a little bit more about our computing portion of our curriculum and computing opportunities at Cal Poly, I'd like to introduce Professor Ulrich Lund. And again, if you have questions about computing, please do type them in the Q&A field, and at the end of Ulrich's presentation, we'll have some opportunities to share more about that.
All right, thanks, Andrew. I was a statistical consultant for a few years in the Bay Area, working in the litigation arena. So we consulted with attorneys involved in lawsuits before I came here about 19 years ago. So just before Beth Chance, or just after, beg your pardon. Anyway, any career as a statistician these days or a data scientist is going to involve a bit of statistical computing or programming. So we have a number of courses here to get you up to speed with that and get your programming chops developed. And you don't have to be a wizard coming in. You know, we've got you with Computer Science 101 here, introductory class in computer programming with a general purpose language, Python. And after that, that was going to be at the end of your freshman year. And then in your sophomore year, we've got Stat 330 and 331, which introduces you to a couple of statistical programming languages, SAS and R. And so we have these three languages amongst your required courses there. And then the elective courses down below, they're also involving R, SAS, and Python. And so you can build up your proficiency with those follow-up courses down below if you're inclined to do so. So someone was asking about the learn by doing aspect of our program. Definitely, you know, when I teach Stat 330 and 331, it's super hands-on, and I mean, I love teaching them because they're real-world data analysis aspects to them. You know, every one of my homework problems is where I find some publicly available data set that has been mentioned in the news or something like that, and then we reanalyze it in class. So I think those are really fun and give the students a sense of what it's like to be a statistician or data scientist outside of the academic world already there in your sophomore year. And aside from the elective courses down below there, you'll also see SAS and R infused in all sorts of 300 and 400 level courses that you take in your curriculum. So there's a lot of exposure to SAS and R. And Python you can develop if you pursue some of the courses in the data arena, like Data 301 at the bottom there. One thing that's cool about our program, I think, is that we don't just teach you one language and then, you know, use that throughout. We do give you exposure to Python, SAS, and R. And Python is really great if you're headed towards the tech industry, you want to be a data scientist in Silicon Valley or something like that. Python would be an awesome skill to have. SAS programming, if you want to go into the pharmaceutical industry or banking industry, or, you know, large Fortune 500 companies tend to hire SAS programmers. Government agencies like the Census Bureau, Food and Drug Administration, they'll hire SAS programmers. And then R is just like an all-around awesome statistical programming tool that shows up all over the place in industry and scientific research. So we got you covered regardless of where you're headed. Python, SAS, and R, I think your exposure to those are going to give you some really marketable skills as you graduate. One success story I may share with you, I had a student in my SAS class who then went on to take these SAS certification preparation courses, and she really enjoyed SAS programming, and she got her dream job at Disney, living in Orlando, Florida, and just living outside of Disney World, and being a data analyst for Disney. So anyway, it's a great marketable skill to leave Cal Poly with and head off to your future.
All right, thank you, Professor Lund. Our next panelist.
Dr. Schaffner, before we go on, we do have one question here. It's not necessarily computing related, but I thought I'd ask it since it is the one that's available on Q&A. So let me ask this. Regarding the campus-wide student consultant opportunity that Dr. Schaffner just mentioned, is getting involved with research programs something that occurs naturally within certain statistics classes, or do we have to sign up for them separately?
So to get involved with research, I think the best way to do that is to stay involved with your faculty and stay informed with our department communications. We do have within our department an opportunities blog, and so as opportunities arise, Katie Doctor maintains the blog for us, and so she'll post an opportunity that students can check in on. They get an email and we tell them, hey, there's this opportunity to participate in a particular research project. So that's certainly one that's broadcast out to students. Typically in classes, these aren't broadcast out. The exception might be a little bit in our consulting course, but even then, the consulting course usually comes at the very end of your career at Cal Poly. It's usually spring of your senior year. In fact, Heather Smith will be telling you more about that in just a moment. So usually in the end of your second year here or during your third year, if you are interested in being involved in a research project, the best way to get involved is to let people know that you're involved, that you want to be involved. Let people know, your professors know, hey, I really want to get involved with the research project. What are you doing? Tell me about the research that you're involved in. And I think through your own being inquisitive and being interested is going to be the best way to identify opportunities for you to be involved. I think as a college student, you're going to have to be, and it's a good thing to be active and interested. College is a place to be present and to really soak up all the opportunities and to not necessarily hide in the corner, if you will. That said, we all are very present with our students, and we will go out and ask our students to participate and become more involved with their various projects. But naturally, the best way to be involved is to, well, get involved. So that would be my suggestion there. There isn't a particular class. I will say that there are some classes that one should have completed before they're able to be truly involved with a lot of projects. Our Stat 334 class, which is our regression modeling class, that's usually a minimal level of expertise that a student would need to have before they can get involved in any more advanced research. Our Stat 301 and 302 gives the foundations of statistical inference. Stat 334 is building the modeling capacity. And then at that point, you can actually start to be really helpful for a lot of other research projects on campus. At this time, let me introduce Professor Smith, who will talk about our communication and consulting portions of our curriculum and tell you a little more about that.
Good afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is Heather Smith. This is my 25th year here in the statistics department at Cal Poly. Fabulous place to work. The students and faculty are a real family, and I think we all truly enjoy working with each other. I'm going to talk a bit about how communication consulting is in the curriculum. And Andrew, are we on the next slide? Thank you. So in the courses that are throughout the curriculum, most of them would have some communication component in the course. So for example, when you're learning about regression methodology, as part of that, you will also practice how to communicate key parts of that methodology to different audiences. But in particular, we have 2 courses that are dedicated to this mission. So Beth mentioned at the year 2, near the end of the second year, you'll take a 2-unit statistical communication course. And in addition to working on things like resume building and such, you'll also work on how to improve the way you write about statistics. That's one major component of that course. And that's quite a small class of students, so you'll get a fair bit of group work and individual work. At the end of your 4th year, for most people, you'll take the Senior Project Statistical Consulting course. We call that STAT 466. There's several students here today that are in the course right now. And that's a 4-unit consulting course where students will be invited to improve their communication skills through working in consulting meetings with clients. So they will meet with clients, will videotape those meetings. They'll review what things they can work on to improve on their consulting. They'll also get a fair bit of feedback on the analysis and written components of the work that they do for these clients. There's a picture there on the screen of 3 of our students meeting with a client. And there's another picture of one of our students, bottom right, of one of our students meeting with 2 clients. So these are pieces of video that were clipped from recent client meetings that our students have had. Maybe some of the students later can talk about their experience so far, even though we're only a few weeks into that class. In addition, there are many elective options, and I think several of us have spoken about it before. There's the Frost undergraduate research opportunity, and for some of those, that work is with clients, both internal to the university and external to the university. And we have a statistical consulting service. And in that statistical consulting service, several faculty members will be meeting with clients. Sometimes they're undergraduate students doing research, or graduate students doing research, faculty doing research, or staff at the university that have questions. And so we help them. And whenever there are undergraduates that would like to have some of that experience, then we can have them come in and do some shadowing or interning in the statistical consulting service. So that, again, would be under some supervision. The last images I have on here on the bottom left are some students that were working on Frost undergraduate research, and they were doing very interesting projects. The one on the bottom left, these are some students that presented and won some awards at something called the SAS Global Forum. And the picture to the right of that is some astronomy related research that some of our students were doing and won some awards. So I think the take home message here is our curriculum is designed to integrate communication and collaboration throughout the curriculum, but with quite a heavy emphasis near the end of the curriculum, where students have a great opportunity to develop their collaboration skills and sometimes get paid for it.
All right, thank you, Heather. At this time, I'd like to introduce Professor Matt Carlton, who is going to talk about our advising.
Hi there. So I don't have a special slide to go along with this, but I don't think I need one. So every stat major that's in our department gets assigned a faculty advisor. So one of us who are professors will be your advisor for your entire time here at Cal Poly. Our primary role is to kind of help you navigate through the curriculum of our program. So simple things like figuring out which courses to take and when, having conversations with you about, okay, if you're really interested in going into this field, then maybe these certain electives would be more interesting to you. It's also our job to help you kind of navigate all the resources that are on campus. Cal Poly, like any university, has a huge support network on campus between career services, various levels of advising, and we can help you figure out the right spot to ask those questions. We can also give you a little bit of guidance on grad school and career information, and if we don't know the answers to questions directly, we always know the right place to send you. So as soon as you arrive on campus, one of the 5 of us faculty that serve as full-time advisors will get in contact with you, and then we'll, again, help you sort of navigate your way through your 4 years here.
All right, thank you, Professor Carlton. Again, we'll save other advising questions and things like that to the end of our program. Our next little segment here is going to talk about some of our, what I'll call minors. I put it in quotes because some of our minors are very special. They're called cross-disciplinary studies minors. They're really more like a major plus. And our first cross-disciplinary minor to talk about is our data science minor. And I'd like to introduce Professor Dennis Sun to introduce himself and to also talk a little bit about our data science minor program.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dennis Sun. I've been at Cal Poly for 5 years now. Before that, I was finishing up my PhD at Stanford. And while I've been at Cal Poly, I've also actually had the chance to work as a data scientist at Google. And I've been one of the main faculty in the department working on the data science program and teaching the data science courses. So our data science minor kind of consists of three, I would say, distinct types of classes. In the first column, you see the statistics classes that are part of the data science minor. Most of these are classes that stat majors would take anyway as part of their major. So I'm not going to talk too much about that. I want to focus a little bit more on the second column, which is the computer science classes that students take as part of the data science minor. So data science is kind of understood as bringing sort of computing to bear upon statistical and data problems. And so it's important that students develop a good foundation in sort of computing skills. And so the computer science skills that students are expected to take as part of this data science minor are classes like algorithms, databases, distributed computing, and machine learning. So these are classes that teach students how to use skills from computer science and bring them to bear upon problems in data science. So for example, distributed computing is about how you process massive data sets when you have sort of a cluster of computers. In the third column, I have sort of the data science classes, and I sort of think of these classes as being the glue between the statistics and the computer science topics. So I've been teaching the Intro to Data Science class, which Professor Lund mentioned, and that class is taught in a general purpose programming language called Python, and students typically take it in their second year at Cal Poly. And then in their senior year, they take a 1-year sequence. So a sequence of 3 classes beginning in the fall with Data 401, which is a class on advanced topics in data science. And that prepares them to take then a 2-quarter long capstone, Data 451 and 452. And the capstone we think of as really the crowning experience for our data science minors. During the 2 quarters, they work together in teams, and they work also with often an industry or government client on a real data science problem. So they're actually solving a real data science problem for a client, and they're working with teams. So they're practicing all the skills of sort of teamwork, communication, while doing something that's not just an exercise that the client will actually use and is actually beneficial to their research or their product or their business. So we think of that capstone experience as kind of being where we're guiding students towards, and I think it's great career preparation for the students.
All right, thank you so much, Dennis. The next minor I'd like to talk about, or actually have you guys hear about, is our actuarial preparation minor, and Professor Kevin Ross will introduce that.
Thank you, Andrew. I'm Kevin Ross. This is my 8th year at Cal Poly. Before becoming a statistics professor, I worked for 4 years as an actuary. So I know a little bit about what it's like to be an actuary. If you've heard about actuaries before, you're probably most familiar with them from the insurance industry. Actuaries are professional risk managers. They assess, an actuary for an insurance company would assess the risks that the insurance company takes on when they sell policies. They determine how much that the company should charge for the policies and things like that. So in order to be an actuary, you need good quantitative skills, and you also need good financial business skills, and then just good teamwork, communication skills in general. So the actuarial preparation minor prepares students for the skills that they would need to be an actuary. The minor is a mixture of coursework from statistics and mathematics that you would take already as part of your statistics major, and then some additional courses in business, courses in finance and accounting, economics, and then security analysis and investment theory. The courses prepare you to be an actuary, but one of the big components about actually being an actuary are the actuarial exams. So like lawyers need to take a bar exam to be a practicing lawyer. Actuaries need to take a series of professional exams. And our coursework prepares students to take these exams. And these are exams that you can get started on taking while you're a student. Typically, many of our students take the first 2 exams in probability and financial mathematics in their second or third year at Cal Poly after they've taken the corresponding courses. I have a student who's a senior now who passed both of these exams before her senior year. And by November of this year, she already had 2 full-time job offers. So these exams, the courses that you take at Cal Poly help you get started on these exams. And then there's other courses at Cal Poly that prepare you for other of the actuarial exams too. So you can really get a head start on that while you're a student. We do also have an actuarial club. And one of the things that the club does is organize study groups. So students who are studying for the exams can study together. And the club also organizes a lot of presentations. So they'll have webinars where people in the actuarial industry will come, talk about what it's like to be an actuary, talk about job opportunities at their companies. We also have alumni who will often come and speak about what their experience has been like. And our students have been fairly successful. In the last few years, we've had students get jobs at insurance companies like Liberty Mutual or Farmers Insurance, and then consulting firms like Ernst & Young and Aon. So if you're interested in the actuarial field, the minor at Cal Poly helps you get a really good start on that career.
Kevin, thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and share with you very briefly a little bit about our brand new bioinformatics program. In fact, it's so new that we only have our first cohort starting next year. Some students are already taking classes in this, but don't have this showing up on their degree yet. So bioinformatics is really another one of our cross-disciplinary programs. It's what I call a major plus. It's a program that's designed specifically for statistics, biology, chemistry, and computer science majors. And so these majors will take courses in their partner disciplines. So I've listed some of the partner disciplines there and the types of courses everybody would take. Bioinformatics is really about building models for the study of genetics and molecular biology. So those are core components in this program, the biology components. But of course, to understand the genetics at the deeper molecular level, you're going to need some chemistry background. So our students in statistics normally don't take chemistry, or they have that as one of their GE electives, but here we require a very specific set of chemistry courses to take. And then computer science. The unique thing about bioinformatics is the ability to take our understanding of biology and the molecular side of things, but actually code that up and build models and search algorithms for different types of gene expressions using various programming techniques. And of course, you're all statistics majors. How does statistics fit in? Well, there's uncertainty in a lot of the processes involved in this. And so one has to be able to quantify that uncertainty. And that's where the statistical methodology comes from, as well as being able to develop and observe patterns in the data. So that's where the introduction to data science and statistical computing in R really starts to play a role here. Like some of the other programs, in particular data science, there is a special capstone program for bioinformatics students where they get to take all of their underlying curriculum and put it together and do a large-scale project before they graduate, and that's in our bioinformatics capstone. But curriculum, faculty, all that aside, really the most important thing about coming to Cal Poly and what we have at Cal Poly that makes us special is our students. And we have 4 of them here today. I'd like our students to take an opportunity to share a little bit about their perspectives on our department. And of course, to then, after they've had a chance to share their perspectives, to open up for them to answer any questions that you might have. And our students are going to close our program for us. So any other questions that you can think of that you want us to address while our students are giving their presentation, you could also add them in the Q&A box. And after our students present, all the faculty panelists will come together to answer any final questions that you might have. So students, take it away. Ethan Moore, Layla Bergen, Mason Ogden, and Regina Liesinker.
Hi there. I guess I'll start. My name is Ethan Moore. I'm a third-year statistics major and was a data science minor up until very recently, but I've been very involved in the statistics program, getting involved outside of class as well since being a freshman, and just really love it. I'm currently the president of Statistics Club, and I've also been involved with the Cal Poly baseball team doing data analysis with them as well.
Okay, I'll go. My name is Layla. I'm a 4th-year statistics major. I used to be a math minor, but then I realized that stats is the superior subject. I am graduating this spring. I am the current Stat Club treasurer. And yeah, I love this program so much. I met my best friends through this program, and yeah, it's great. It's like home to me.
Hi, my name is Mason Ogden. I'm a 3rd-year statistics major with a data science minor. I am really interested in like data science and basketball statistics, so it's been really fun here, and I'm trying to work with the basketball team in the future. And I've really enjoyed the data science program here as well. I've really enjoyed all the classes, so.
Hi, I'm Regina. I'm a 4th-year statistics major and gerontology minor. That's the study of aging, with plans to graduate this June as well. And I've loved my time in the statistics department. I got to be Stat Club president last year, and that was really fun. Getting to know all the professors has been definitely a key part of my experience in the department. And I've also gotten to work with a lot of professors I wouldn't have otherwise had by leading statistics workshops for the business statistics classes. So that's been a really cool part of my experience as well.
All right, thank you. Jimmy, can you tell us about our questions that we might have?
Yes, we have a couple questions here. The first question is about transfer students. Do transfer students take the same first-year classes if their intro stats and computer requirements have already been met? Where do transfer students fall into the curriculum?
All right, I'll give that one a whirl. So the short answer is that transfer students are on an accelerated curriculum because obviously you've got a lot of work already done. So we set it up so that you could graduate in 2 years rather than 4. So the courses that you saw on the screen ages ago, you actually will take most of those courses, but you'll take them at a faster pace. Courses like Computer Science 101 that you probably already have done, obviously you don't need to repeat those. So ideally by the end of your first year at Cal Poly, you're basically at the same place that freshmen are when they get to the end of their 3rd year. But that's one of the things that we do as academic advisors is help you figure out like which courses to take which quarter in order to, again, get you sped up.
Right, thank you. The next question is, when and how do we declare for a minor? I'm interested in the data science minor specifically.
I can take that question. So it varies from minor to minor. So there are, besides the minors that Dr. Schaffer mentioned, there's also, you can also minor in other departments. For example, math, you can do a minor in math, you can do a minor in biology and so forth. So it really varies from minor to minor. For the data science minor, students typically declare that after they take Data 301, the Intro to Data Science class. There is a minimum grade requirement, that is a B-, but as long as you meet that B- requirement in Data 301, then you apply for the minor. There's just some paperwork you fill out, and then you're a minor.
All right, thank you. A few more questions have just come online. Perhaps Dr. Sun might take this one as well. I'm currently taking the class Data Structures, in which we code in Java at a local community college. And what I've heard from Dr. Sun, data science and the statistics major in general uses Python as a programming language. Does this make the class I'm taking useless, or is there a way I use this class to earn credit for a class that Cal Poly offers?
So not at all. So in fact, that's going to be very useful. Cal Poly's data structures class is the second CS class, CS 202. And although it's taught in Python, we accept credit for data structures classes that are taught in other programming languages as well. The only thing I would say is that if you've never used Python before, there might be a little bit of catching up to do to get up to speed with your peers who did take these classes in Python. But other than that, you will get credit for the classes that you've already taken, even if it was in a different programming language.
Right, thank you. Got a couple more questions here. The next two questions, they might be handled at the same time because they're about the minor. First question, is there a specific amount of minors we are allowed to take? And the second one is, as a statistics major in the College of Math and Sciences, would we be able to, on this for the major, pardon me, as a statistics major in the College of Math and Sciences, would we be able to double major in a course in the College of Liberal Arts?
So I'll go ahead and answer that. There is not a limit to the number of minors that you can actually participate in, but you do want to keep in mind to have a reasonable plan to graduate in a timely manner. So for most people, that's, the attempt is to do 4 years. Some people take a quarter or even 2 extra, and especially that's true if you were to have multiple minors, but you have to think about your larger plan. For many of you, you might consider going on to graduate school, in which case getting a minor might not be the best thing, but in fact, dedicate that extra time towards working on your master's degree in another discipline if that was something that interested you. With respect to double majoring, yes, you can double major. There are some majors that are more natural to double with. For example, double majoring in statistics and mathematics, there's a lot of overlap in our curriculum. So you can actually double major in a reasonably efficient way. Double majoring with programs in the College of Liberal Arts, a little bit more difficult potentially because there's just less overlap. Of course, the GE portion overlaps, but there's maybe 80 additional units that wouldn't. So that would keep you here a little longer if you truly wanted to do that double major. Many of you may be arriving with substantial AP credit or courses you've taken at community college, so you may actually have some more luxury to do that.
Right, thank you. Actually, the next question is for Ethan. I'm interested in working with the baseball team, but I was wondering what the time commitment is like. Would you recommend starting during my first year or later on?
Hi there. Great question. Glad that you're interested. Working with the baseball team is a very good way to get involved on campus. The season that we were supposed to be having right now is obviously canceled now. So everything's a little bit up in the air, but we will be looking for new people to join the team next year, probably in the fall. And I would say getting involved early is better. And the time commitment can be really flexible. We know that everyone has a lot going on and people have different schedules, so we can be really flexible. I will make sure to have the opportunity to work with the baseball team on the stats opportunity blog that's been mentioned a couple times that Katie Doctor puts together. So I would just say keep an eye out for that, and hope to hear from you in the fall.
And I'll just interject that in addition to the baseball team, we've also had students work for the Cal Poly basketball team as well as volleyball team. Many of them do some amazing statistical work in keeping track of what's happening out during the games and also modeling performance and predicting performance and how they might stand up against various teams around the nation.
Thank you. Here's a related question. This is for anyone. If I want to work as a statistician for a professional sports team in the future, what would be the smartest minor and course path I should take?
I could hop in here on this one. So I am not a professional sports analyst, but that is the direction that I'm trying to go. I know most about baseball, and I assume that other professional sports are similar. But for me, the answer to that question was to do a data science minor. The data science minor gives a lot of helps us practice the skills of programming that seem to be very important if you want to be doing data analysis at the next level, especially for a sports team. So for me, that's data science. There's probably other ways to go about it, but that's just what I would suggest.
All right, thank you. Next question is a question on the blended master's program. When would I need to apply for that?
So for the blended master's program, students would typically declare that they want to be part of that program sometime in their their third or fourth year. Up until that time, the curriculum is truly an undergraduate curriculum, and then there starts to begin to have some overlap in that potentially third and fourth year. Our mathematical statistics sequence is really starting to lay the foundation of the master's program. So that usually happens in your third year. You actually don't have to officially declare being in that program until just right up until your undergraduate graduation. So as long as you haven't graduated yet, you actually can still start into that program. But it would happen typically in your third or fourth year.
All right. Yes, so here's a question that just came in. You mentioned that earlier only 25% of graduates go on to graduate school. How do we know whether or not it's worth getting a master's degree in statistics?
That's an excellent question. And a lot of that depends on your aspirations and the market demand. It is true that earning a master's degree will typically have a higher salary right out the gate. You have more responsibilities right out the gate after you obtain that degree. But many of our bachelor's degree students also move up rather rapidly into higher earning potential as well. So it's not, I wouldn't say it's an absolutely essential thing to have that master's degree, but it definitely lets you start at a higher level right when you finish. That's why we're very excited to have that on our horizon, to be able to offer that to our students. For many years, our bachelor's program has been compared to many master's programs at other institutions. We have a very rigorous program with a lot of varied coursework. Because we're a quarter school, we can do that. Many semester schools can't offer students the variety that we offer here. So by having that maximal variety, our students have done very well even with a bachelor's degree. But now we're going to be able to offer that master's label, so they have a little more earning potential right out the gate. Many of our students go on and get PhDs as well. They go, in fact, several of them have even earned their PhDs in return, as I mentioned, from Cal Poly, myself included. Dr. Glanz, who's not here today, and Dr. Frame are two other Cal Poly alumni that have returned. And we've had several others that are now faculty at other institutions across the country and in industry as well with PhDs.
I'll just also add, there are some career paths that to get into that career path, you need a master's degree. So let's say you wanted to work in biopharmaceutical industry as a biostatistician, many of those positions would require at least a master's degree for that particular career path. So if there was some area that you're particularly interested in, you could talk to one of the faculty or do your own research to identify, what is like a minimum entry degree for that discipline.
Well, we've come to the end of our time together today, but thank you very much for attending our webinar and our virtual open house, our first ever virtual open house. If you have any further questions, you can find all of our email addresses at statistics.calpoly.edu. I'd be happy if you drop me an email, if you wanted to have a Zoom meeting together, if you have follow-up questions. All the other panelists here, I'm sure, would be happy to also meet with you if you had follow-up questions. All that can be available by going to statistics.calpoly.edu, and you can find our directory there. Also, this whole presentation that we just had will be available at the open house website. So you'll be able to probably sometime later today, if you wanted to review anything that you felt like you missed, you'd have that opportunity to scan around in this video and catch something that you may have missed. But again, thank you so much for coming today. We really look forward to meeting you all in the fall. We're very excited to have a fantastic incoming class of students. So thank you again, and we'll see you soon.